welcome to Grab a Cuppa. This week's episode, I am joined by my friend Zowie Farron, and we are talking about her daughter Lilith, who has complex needs. She has a condition called corpus callosum. So Zowie will explain to us exactly what that is. The aim of these series of new episodes is to show parents out there who have children with complex needs that you aren't alone. So this is the conversation that I had with Zowie this week. So this is Grab a Cuppa with Mates featuring Zowie Farron. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for doing this with us, because obviously, you know, it can be quite hard speaking about these things.
Yeah.
But I for these new series, what I wanted to do is speak to parents of, of any color and creed, of everyone, and just so that the parents know that they aren't alone. Because when you've got children with special needs, it can be quite solitary, I find. So the aim of this is just to share our stories, and then hopefully whoever listens to it doesn't feel so alone. So you were explaining, you told me that your daughter had a condition. Now, I was trying to say it, but I will let you explain it.
I've known of it for 13 years and I still can't pronounce it, so don't worry. You're not the only one. It is a very hard one, but it's corpus callosum.
Yeah.
I say that right. It sounds really bad when you've got a daughter with it, but yeah. And do you want me to explain what it is?
Yes, please, because obviously you will know more than me.
Because when I say to people corpus callosum, they're like, what? I've never heard of that before. But yeah, it basically is, corpus callosum is like connect the left side of your brain to the right side, each side being known as a hemisphere. The connection allows information to pass between the two halves. Each side of the brain controls movement and feeling in the opposite half of the body, and it sits in the centre of the brain. It's about 10 centimetres and it's shape of a C. It can also process information such as language, therefore physical coordination and taking in complex information requires both sides of the brain to work together. The corpus callosum acts as a connector. Some children are born without a corpus callosum. This leads to a rare disorder known as genesis of the corpus. It affects around 1,000 to 3,000 people. And also, you don't have to be born with it. You can have it damaged in some way. Say you're in an accident or something, it gets damaged. But yeah, I found out about it when I was pregnant with Lilith.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was quite lucky really to be having scans every 2 weeks because of diabetes through pregnancy. They had to keep an eye on the size of the baby.
Of course.
So it was round about 26 weeks.
Right.
Going for just a scan, just to check the size, and I was absolutely petrified because I was laying there having a scan as you do and everything, and the woman said, I just need to talk to someone. Can you go and wait in the quiet waiting room?
Yeah.
So at this point I'm thinking, oh God, what's wrong and everything, and they didn't exactly say at the time. You just told me to go in this room. So I'm actually petrified, thinking,
yeah, of course.
What could it be?
Yeah.
And then talking to my partner at the time, and I said, well, we need to discuss this, if there's something wrong or something. And I'm well, either way, I think I'm going to have it. It's just like, let's just see what happens and everything. And like all things are going through your head in this like 5 minutes of waiting till this other woman comes in.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so she comes in and she tells me of it, like this corpus callosum, and I'm not unaware at this time, thinking, what the hell is that? I've never heard of that before. And she said, you need to go to London to see a professional doctor to have a proper scan done to see like around the brain and everything.
Must have been really scary though, isn't it?
I was absolutely petrified.
Yeah.
Like just the day before the going trip to London to see this like, doctor, I just like broke down. I was absolutely petrified because I've never heard of it before. It's like majority of people like say to me like, I've never heard of that before. I don't know what it is. So I was absolutely just like petrified because I didn't know what to expect from it and everything and that. And anyway, we went to London and that was a stressful day.
Of course.
We were like 7 hours in the waiting room.
Oh, why that long? Why so long?
Because this doctor is like, it was the trying to think the name of the hospital. I can't think of it right now. It's one of the famous hospitals in London. Oxford one, is it? Or something? No, I can't remember what one it was now because it's such a long time ago.
Of course.
But yeah, we were in this waiting room and all pregnant women waiting to see this specific like professional. Right. And I thought, I could never do this again. Thinking, geez, 7 hours, and we was just so stressed. And the time we come to see the doctor, I was just like worn out. You're just like sitting in his waiting room. It's just amazing how tiring it was. I just want to go home.
Yeah, of course.
But basically, the annoying thing was the one who did the scan.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was probably in there for about an hour or so. It really felt really long time. I was laying on my back, and you've had kids, so you probably know what it's like when you're laying down on your back.
Of course,
sick,
yeah.
Don't you? So I was laying there for a long time, and I said, I feel really sick. And then it was really hot, and all of a sudden I felt like this aircon come on. I was just like, oh, thank goodness for that, and that really helped. But yeah, I was in this chair for a very long time having this scan done. They were properly looking at her brain and obviously just like really like checking it. And it took a very long time. But the annoying thing was when I sat with the doctor, he basically said to me what Milton Keynes had told me. And I'm thinking, what a waste of time, all that time for them just to tell me what Milton Keynes had told me, that,
Yeah, going through that stress as well.
No.
Like, something must be really, really wrong for them to send me to this doctor.
Yeah, because, again, like I say, I didn't know anything about it, so I didn't know what to expect from it. And basically what he said was, I was sitting on the edge of the bed while he was talking to me, and he said, explained it and said basically the baby will either have Down syndrome or it affects the learning disabilities. So when she was born, luckily she didn't have the Down syndrome, but we didn't know how much of effect it would affect her reading up on it and everything and stuff. And when she was born, she had like a head scan.
Yeah.
And they said it's partly missing. It's not fully missing. So she's been quite lucky, really, compared to children I've seen with fully missing and everything and that. So she's quite lucky, but she didn't start walking till she was about 4 or 5. I think it was not near enough 5, but yeah, it was very hard to potty train her as well. But she used to be quite emotional, like tantrums and stuff, but it was because she couldn't express herself. And
frustration, do you reckon? Yeah. More frustrated, yeah.
Yeah, she couldn't express herself and frustration. She couldn't tell me what she wanted and stuff. So on the lucky side, it's only affected her learning, and obviously she was slow in her development, but she was at a mainstream school until she was about 6, I think, and then they said that she can't handle it and felt mean because she was taken out of the classroom to be worked with on her own, and they said, yeah, she really needs like special needs school. I can't remember the age now, how old she was when she left mainstream school, but yeah, she was only there for a few years at least. And then as soon as she started Slated Row, she's come on like really marvellous. And
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
yeah, so her development at first was like really slow.
Yeah.
But,
how did that
the
make
older
you
she
feel
got,
though? Like, I guess as a parent myself, I used to, not anymore. I used to compare my children to other like neurotypical kids. So how did that make you feel watching other kids sort of like, reach every milestone, and then your child is like so behind?
when she was going to the mainstream school, it was very difficult because I felt really bad for her. Like she was being taken out of the classroom
Mm,
and other kids were together, and she was probably, I'd hate to think how she was thinking. And I think that's the only thing that kind of affected me and everything and that. But she was getting help. I was getting help at the time, trying to get her walking and stuff and that. But yeah, it was just really tough time more when she was younger, because of getting around and stuff, and like she was my little bum shuffler. But I guess where it comes to more of the guilt is with Tristan,
yeah.
because obviously I had to give Lilith more my time with him, and he's kind of been like how I was when I was younger. I seem to be like the no one liked me kind of thing, and
Yeah.
with me and stuff, and I've kind of seen him go through it as well.
Yeah.
So
I understand that because obviously, personally, like my daughter, she's 8. She's also on the spectrum. And then there's my son. My son's 6, but my son is completely non-verbal. He's still in nappies, and um, so yeah, they are on opposite sides of the autistic spectrum. So obviously, we need to give my son more help because he's not as independent as my daughter. But then obviously there's also that little in a way sort of jealousy, because my parents are like spending more time with my brother. Why aren't they spending this time with me? you
yeah,
know and
it's
then
very difficult
it's
when you got more than one, and one of them's needed more help, and that I found that.
yeah, it's always like for us, it's always reassuring her that that is not the case. What it is she can go to the toilet by herself and sort herself out, whereas Logan can't. My son, he can't do that. So therefore, we need to help him with that. But then it's just we have to keep reassuring her that that is not the case. We don't love him more than we love her. And I guess her becoming a young woman, now, and I don't want her to feel like she's that she's not loved as much as her
Yeah,
brother. So yeah, absolutely. So that's why I understand how that's like, because my kids are like that.
it was a tough time, I must admit, when they were younger, because going through that, and then I split with my ex,
Yeah.
and